Hey there, and welcome back once again. It's time for the Golden Age of DC Comics 365 Days, where I take this beloved hardcover coffee table book given to me by one of my best friends about 2 decades ago, and it's been surfing my coffee table ever since. It's well read, it's a great excuse to talk about one of my all time favorite loves, comic books. This is an Abrams 2004 hardcover book. It was collected and curated and written by Les Daniels, Chip Kidd, and Geoff Spear. I have the link in the description if you'd like to get yourself a copy to Amazon. Last time I checked, it's less than $20, and it looks great on anyone's coffee table. And what goes great with coffee tables, coffee table talk, company for coffee, coffee. Yes. Tanzanine peaberry. Globally curated and locally and freshly roasted. Very happy. It's a medium roast bean. And this is the Golden Age of DC Comics. The Golden Age runs between 1938 and 1955. The Silver Age begins in 1956 with our current topic here today. We're talking about The Flash. And in 1956 was released Showcase number 4, starring the brand new Flash, Barry Allen, who exists still today. So that happened in 1956. The Silver Age goes until 1970. And the Bronze Age begins in 1970 to 1985. I'm a Bronze Age baby. And apparently there's a Copper Age that begins in 1985. And I'd like to have conversations about these different ages of comics and how to frame and define the ages going forward from the millennium onward. And I'd like to be part of that conversation and hopefully influence that. And if you want to be part of the conversation, leave a comment in the comment section. I'm looking to recreate the comic book shop conversations we used to have on any given Wednesday or any given day. I miss those conversations, and I love comic books, and I love history, and this has a lot to do with both. And so let's crack the book open and see who we're talking about when we open the page, and that all that figures into today, May the 14th. It's art by E. Hibbard from the cover of Flash Comics number 30, June of 1942. Flash was a very popular character. He actually had, I think, 2 comic books with his name on it, in addition to the All-Star Squad. So yeah, this is Jay Garrick, the Golden Age Flash. And let's talk, well, let's read the blurb and then we'll get into it. In real life, the Flash was research scientist Jay Garrick, but on this cover, he looks like he should have been a journalist. And yet, he seems to be utterly bewildered by the 5 simple questions that every Cub reporter learns to ask. Who, what, where, when, and why. It's not that the Flash didn't pay attention in class, though. He's just the victim of another fiendish foreign scientist, this one brandishing the dreaded Curiosity Ray. So he got zapped by the Curiosity Ray. Now he's like beset with an attention disorder that he has to question everything he sees, which will slow him down and impede his progress into stop the crimes or save the city, that kind of stuff. But yeah, this is the who, what, where, when, why, and how. How is a very good. You got to throw how in there as well. And I wanted to talk a little bit about. Well, we're going to talk about Jay Garrick real quick. Let's throw his origin story in here. We're talking comic books. His first appearance was in Flash Comics number 1 in January of 1940. He's been. There was an all-Flash. There was the All-Star Comics. He was part of the Justice Society of America, and then he got all Flash Comics. All Flash Comics was canceled in 1948 after 32 issues. Flash Comics was canceled in 1949 after 104 issues. And All Star Comics was canceled in 1951 after 57 issues, marking Garrick's last Golden Age appearance. Garrick would not appear again for 10 years and never got another solo series. He would reappear again at Flash number 123 in 1961. Remember, I said that Showcase number 4 was the debut of Barry Allen. Well, Flash Comic Books just started up again and kept its original issue numbering. So it was still volume 1, and they just kept on going on, I guess, at issue 58. And so by issue 123, you have the very famous Flash of Two Worlds, where Barry Allen, the new Silver Age Flash, can vibrate his body and can figure out that a multiverse exists, and it's only a vibration away. It's literally sharing the same space-time, but they exist on a different vibrational frequency. And so he vibrates into another world, and he meets the Flash, Jay Garrick, which is funny because Barry Allen based his identity upon the comic book he read as a kid, Jay Garrick's Golden Age Flash. We would call that meta today. And but also, I love the idea of journalism and the history of journalism, because how does this kind of wrap up together? How does this dovetail? Publishing, magazine publishing. A comic book is just a simple magazine. It has it's in a format, in a magazine format. It's bound in the center with 2 staples. It has what? 18 big pages folded over into 2, which is about 32. So you get 22 pages of story and about 10 pages of advertisements. I mean, there's a thing to it. I'm still learning all about this stuff, and it's been so fun learning about the things I take for granted. And but let's look a little bit. I'm going to read from the wiki. Early and basic journalism. This is the history of journalism, the history of magazines. This is, and it's about the printing press being invented, and then about the dissemination of the magazines and the pamphlets, and that they weren't vellum. It wasn't books. Those were a different type of publication. This was different. This was the beginning of something new. So in 1556, the government of Venice first published the monthly Notizie Scritte, the written notices, which cost 1 gazzetta, a Venetian coin at the time. The name, the name of which eventually came to mean newspaper. These avices were handwritten newsletters and used to convey political, military, and economic news quickly and efficiently through Europe, specifically through Italy during the early modern era of 1500 to 1800. And this is where Overstreet's glossary defines print publications or comics of this area, which would be probably woodcuts of illustrations dipped into ink, pressed onto paper. And Overstreet's glossary defines this as the pioneer age, the 1500s to 1828 specifically. And after 1600, the national governments of France and England began printing official newsletters. In 1622, the first English language weekly, A Current of General News, was published and distributed in England in an 8 to 24 page quarto format. And a quarto, just so you know, it's like we call newspapers broadsheets. They're just very big pieces of paper folded in half. So you have a pagination and you have a sequence of pages. A quarto is the format of a book or pamphlet produced from full sheets, printed with 8 pages of text, 4 to a side, then folded twice to produce 4 leaves. The leaves are then trimmed along the folds to produce 8 book pages. Each printed page presents as 1/4 the size of the full sheet. This is just printing publication. This is What else are comic books? They're not just trade paperbacks. They're not just the movies. They're magazines, and there were magazines meant specifically to sell to a specific audience, but also to convey advertisements, the source of revenue besides the cover price of the magazine. Revenue comes from the advertisements, the symbiotic relationship between the ad and the magazine still goes on today. It's I find the history of publication just to be so wonderful. And I'm going to leave this as an American with the First Amendment. And Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or of the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. So remember, once again, the free press is an unspoken but an important part of the government, along with the legislative, the executive, and the judicial branches here in America for us. But the free press is part of those checks and balances. And that's why the First Amendment exists in a very short form, very succinct, and it's one sentence. It's a lot to unpack, but it still resonates today, such as the golden age of DC Comics, which resonates today, doesn't it? And we're going to be talking about comic books every day for the rest of the year. So tune in tomorrow, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern. We'll find out who we're talking about when we turn the page tomorrow, using a few of the journalistic 5 W's. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope you have the opportunity to crack open a book and be spirited away to a different place, if only for a few moments, to have a respite from the worries of this world. And like and subscribe if you could be so kind. I hope to earn your subscription. I make daily content. We talk about comic books. We talk about cooking a lot. I'm a professional chef. I share my hacks with you. I'm an ordained minister, a spiritual guy, an amateur theologian. I want to share with you the positive impact spirituality can have on your daily life. Hashtag lighten up. It's about enlightenment, and come on in. Everyone's welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. God bless. Namaste. Good luck, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.